Hello, welcome. We are here today to discuss about breakups. And I know that everybody has gone through a breakup in their lives. I mean, I haven't met somebody who hasn't, right? If you are somebody who has never broken up in your life, please, I want to meet you. So, we are here to talk about breakups and specifically about how we deal after a breakup. Breakup is a very painful story. It's a profoundly hurtful emotional experience in our life. And sometimes we're not equipped in dealing with such an experience. We don't know what to do. We are in an emotional roller coaster. We're going from one side to the other, from loving and being nostalgic about our partner, ex partner, to hating our ex partner. So let's dig into that. Hi, my name is Vasis Randopoulou and I'm your relationship psychologist. And I'm here to help you go from I had enough to I am enough. This is a transition, this is a journey in our lives where we feel more self love, more self acceptance, and also we figure out what are the things that are important to ourselves. And also we figure out what is important in our lives from now onwards. What is the relationships that we want to have? What is the person that we would like to be? Don't forget to subscribe because every week I have a new video. Every week as well, I stream a live video. And every week we also have some short videos for you. So there's a lot of content on relationships and mental health for you. Don't miss it. Now let's go to breakup. Breakup, as we said before, it's an emotional roller coaster, right? There's so many things that we need to untangle. There's so many things that we are overwhelmed with. We don't know where to start. To name a few emotions or feelings that we experience, yeah? And probably all of you have felt the majority of these. We feel lost. We feel empty. We feel rejected, abandoned. We feel lonely. We feel really sad, depressed. We feel angry. We feel grief. We feel that we are not good enough. We feel that we deserved it. We also feel guilty because we did something, we think, and we ended up in this situation. We feel like a failure, as if we couldn't protect or save this relationship, or we couldn't help this person see our worth and our value. We feel frustrated, we're craving for connection, but sometimes, among all these negative emotions, we feel something positive, relief. Sometimes, yes, we may feel relief because it is possible that we were in a toxic relationship, in an unhealthy relationship, or we were trying too hard for this relationship and eventually it didn't work out, but we were so exhausted. So, yes, sometimes we may feel relief and that doesn't cancel all the others. So, human beings are very complicated beings, right? So, we can feel a lot of emotions at the same time. We can feel very positive and also very negative and also something in between. Okay. So, as you can see, it is an emotional roller coaster. All right. So, what are the first things that we need to do in this emotional roller coaster? I'm going to focus on two specific aspects of dealing with a breakup, moving on after the breakup. The first one is closure. You know that. Sometimes you want to be helped in having a closure. You cannot move on. You're stuck in the past. Even though your mind, your logical part of your brain says, of course, it's better without this person. Of course, you need to move on. This was getting nowhere. It's good for you that you're moving on. Even though the logic says this, our heart is still in pain, longs to be with this person again. We cannot imagine our life without this person. So these two, they don't actually collaborate so well. And we want closure. Somebody help us. And sometimes we think that closure comes if we talk to our ex partner and we have a conversation with them, and if we answer all the questions we have, all the whys, all the what ifs, all the what would be if, all these questions that we have. And I know we have a lot of questions, yeah? And we think that if we do these two things, we're going to gain closure. Let me question that. Why? Because sometimes we may have a talk with our ex partner, maybe, right? And it is possibly the case that they will answer some of the questions. It is also possible that they will not answer these questions. They will be avoidant. They will be, well, what do you want from me now? What can I do now? What do you want me to say? So we will face again this wall because this person is also trying to move on. He's also trying to find answers and they don't have answers or they have a different kind of questions. So it is difficult, especially, and don't idolize that if I talk to the other person, I will figure out what happened in my relationship. That's one case. Even if you talk to them, you will not get your answers. Another case, it will be even if you talk to them, you will get back with even more questions because the person will answer completely in a way that you didn't expect, in an unexpected way, and you will be even more frustrated, even more sad, even more confused. So maybe you will come back with more questions and more effort to put this closure. Also, maybe this person will never be available to have this talk with you. They don't want to have this talk. They don't want to talk. They're done with talking with about this relationship with you. What will happen then? Are you going to stay with these questions inside you? Are you going to wait forever until somebody comes and answers these questions? And I know how painful it is. I've been there, of course, myself. And I know many of my clients are there today, this moment, and they are struggling with finding the answers. And my job is to help them figure out that closure, it's a personal decision. It's something that we have to decide ourselves. We have to answer our questions. And maybe you will say, yeah, but I don't know the right, answers to this question. Of course. Of course we don't know. But we are going to choose to give answers to these questions that suit us, our inner peace, and our moving on. I'm going to choose to believe, even though my mind says, what if this person didn't love you? Why did they reject you in the end? Maybe it was something about you. Do you know if it was about you? Even though my mind is asking this question, I'm going to choose the answers that are the best answers for these questions. I'm going to choose to believe, yes, this person loved me. Maybe not all the time, but I felt loved by this person in this relationship, and that's good enough for me to move on. I don't know exactly why we broke up. I don't know what was exactly the reason, but I know that this person couldn't figure out this reason together with me and together to protect and save the relationship. You give your own answers about that. The answers, again, that suit you, your mental health, and help you move on. Because, as we said, we never know what's the right answer. So, closure is a personal experience, it's a personal decision. And why we decide to give closure ourselves? As we said, because we want to move on. We're not going to get stuck. If you're waiting for somebody else to give you closure, you're going to get stuck forever. The second thing that I would like to work with you, and I'm working with my client, is having regrets. Why didn't I see that earlier? Why didn't I do that? Why didn't I say that? So we are there and we are asking ourselves all of this why and why I acted like that and I shouldn't have done this and I should have done that. All the whys again and again. I know it's the human brain again trying to find solutions, try to see how we can protect ourselves. There is a function behind this regret habit. There is a function behind that. It's our brain saying that if I find what is the why now, I will be better protected for the future. If I find the why now, maybe I can go back and correct it. So it's our brain which works as a machine that corrects mistakes and finds solutions. So that's a function. However, it doesn't help our very sensitive and very fragile heart at this moment. You're already having so much on your plate. You're feeling, as we said before, sad and lonely and stuck and confused and angry and frustrated and grieving and depressed and all these things. And on top of that, you're having the regrets. That's a lot. That's a lot. That's an extra level of pain. And as we say, during these times, we don't want to add pain. We want to take some back. We want to lower a little bit the pain, right? What we want to do is be more compassionate to ourselves. That's what we need at that moment. We don't need an extra beating up. We don't need that. We're already in pain, as we say. So there will always be why. There will always be better things that you could have done in the past, always. However, what I need you to do now is forgive yourself. Forgive yourself for not knowing better. I know it's really hard. One of the hardest things that we have to do as human beings is forgive ourselves for our mistakes. We always think that we have to be perfect and we have to have the perfect decisions and perfect lives and perfect partners and be perfect ourselves. But this is not possible. So we have to learn to be forgiving to ourselves when we're not perfect. And many times in our lives, we're not perfect. Learn how to forgive ourselves for not knowing better, for having this wisdom now, but not having it back then. It's okay. It's okay. It's really okay if we do that. Remember, these two things. Closure is a personal decision, is a personal action. It's up to you. You decide what you need to tell to yourself in order to move on. And regrets, we will always have regrets of our lives, but we don't want to get stuck in these regrets. We don't want to end up ruminating over the past mistakes for the rest of our lives. We want to be able to let them be in the past there, to learn from them what it is that we can learn, and then move on without any emotional baggage, without any emotional leftovers from this. We don't want to affect the way we relate next in our life just because of the past mistakes. Being feeling free is liberating, is one of the most valuable emotions and experiences that we can have. And that's why we're here. And that's why we're talking about how to move on after breakup. These were my 2 cents, my two very useful and very practical tips for you. I hope it was helpful. Practice as much as possible every day, a tiny bit. And don't forget the workshop that I'm organizing about relationships on the 26th of October, and it's going to be about attachment style and how, when we learn our attachment style, we can be more connecting, more trusting, more respectful to our partner. We can have less conflict. We can feel more heard. We can feel that we are enough in a relationship. We can avoid these moments of stuckness and exhaustion and silence and disconnection. So, looking forward to seeing you there. And don't forget to write your questions and your comments in the comments area. Thank you very much for being here. See you next time. Take good care of yourself.